5G that's killing insects all over the country and the world.
Mr. Adams.
I'm talking to Mr. Little.
Well, my only response would be, these are business people and they're aware of what
Okay.
their risk is. That's their responsibility.
Really?
And Chairman, Seats, I think that we should pretty much leave it at that. I mean, we know the bees pollinate and it's a business for some people, but to have them here give an actual presentation that we can ask our questions and they answer them. And until then, Mr. Little, Director Little has an opportunity to search the land and see if we have what will accommodate them. I do have a suggestion, however. Noble would be somebody that you might want to talk to because they have land.
And that's one
And
of
I
the
spoke
areas
to
they
them
look at.
before, prior to what's out there now, about other businesses coming along and possibly, yeah. just
We'll absolutely
talk.
take that suggestion. We will do that.
I didn't get my
You wanted to
question.
know about getting rid of 5G.
Well, once again, if they're doing research on the area, they know 5G is here. For that matter, 5G is all over the state.
It's
It's
6 now.
their decision to decide whether they want to come with, I mean, we're not insuring the vehicles.
Okay.
We're at 5C. I mean, we're at G6. What is, people keep talking about 5 for? For real?
Please, can I have my
You know
question?
what you're talking about.
Okay.
Look it up. I hate it, but it's where it is.
That is the damage.
Okay, again, you have a responsibility to know about the 5G. Matter of fact, everybody in here should know about that. You
I do
and the
know.
council, should know about the 5G and be able to tell the people not to come here, because I'm telling you again, if you do not address these 5G towers, which is a Illuminati organization that's putting this everywhere because they want to fry everybody, basically. That's just flat out. They want to put these 5G towers up. Once they put them up every 50 feet, those 5G towers are going to be a microwave system. Everybody that walks through here with a face, a phone that has an open face can be zapped. I know because it happened to me. Facts. You all are not addressing this 5G. You act like you don't know who put it here. Somebody in here is working with those elitists. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. You all are killing off the people, and I have proof, because 5G, I am a covering stage 4 cancer patient. And I talked to you about you specifically and the city manager 3 years ago about the 5G. And I remember when there was a young European here that told y'all all about 5G, and all you overlooked, and it's all documented. You all are in violation. You all want to be with the elitists. That's just a fact. Y'all are working against the people, and the people need to know the truth. And I'm living proof, and I'm definitely going to tell all the people these 5G towers are dangerous.
Look, let me read it.
Can I have that address?
You didn't ask the question, make a statement.
I said the 5G towers, I said eye contact, I talked with you, I talked with the city manager, you all blowed it off. The city manager said he don't know where the tower, matter of fact, he said on record years ago that the towers, he didn't know anything about who put the towers up. Y'all said y'all didn't know who put the towers up. Let me ask this question. Who put up the towers?
The people that put the towers up.
I requested that
Oh.
information and never got it.
I mean, if you talking about cell phone towers been there.
5G towers.
Well, what you're assuming,
I'm not assuming anything.
what you're
They
assuming,
are out here.
what you're assuming is they put the towers.
I
The
saw.
cell phone
I-
tower, well, you know it, man.
Yeah,
You
I
asked-
saw.
you asked a rhetorical question.
Right, okay, well,
So
because
then
you're
why
not
don't
answering my
why don't
question.
you point out where they at and who put them up? If you already know the answer to it.
I don't know the answer. I'm asking you who
That's
put
what I'm
the
telling
towers
you.
up.
So you're insinuating is that they put up new towers. You don't have to put up a new tower in order to enact
Even
5G.
insinuating.
You have to put up every 50 feet, you know that.
There's no towers built on every 50 feet.
Okay, they're going to be sub-tower, I'm talking about the little sub-tower,
Right now, there's no towers up every 50 feet.
that they're going to be sub-towers that are going to be, like, there's one.
Point
on
of
the
order,
corner.
point of order, seem like to me somebody trying to hold up the progress of training.
Point of order.
Hold on. Let me finish this real quick. There's no
This ain't even on the agenda.
microwave towers in the 50 feet nowhere but home. There's no poles that you can assume that they have on top of buildings anyway. Hold on, let me finish. 5G, LTE, 4G, all the G's have been there for years. Most people got 5G in your house. If you have Wi-Fi in your house right now, you have 5 gigabytes in your house.
Not
That is-
everybody. That's not true. That's not true.
Look at your box.
Not true.
Okay, well, you know why you're asking.
Because
I can tell you
Point
everybody
of order.
who has
Point of order, Chair.
Wi-Fi.
I'm
In your house.
having a problem with this
That's
dialogue
fine.
that you're having. You're out of order.
Hold on, wait a second.
Point of order.
But let me digress and say this real quick. Let me say this, Commissioner Henry. If it's a problem with citizens speaking, then we got another problem. But then when I address a citizen, then there's another problem. So what? He asked the question. I'm asked the question.
But sir, you're not telling the full truth. What you're saying is not all true. So I don't think it's something that you need to be spouting out in public unless there's some truth to it. Now, there was some questions that have been asked of staff, and staff is gonna come back
Well, hey,
and give us that kind of information.
Mr. Mitchell, you know a lot more about telephony than I do. And Mr. Little, you know a lot more about telephony than I do. So y'all please get back to them with the correct answer. I've only been dealing with it for 24 years. So, thank you. Ma'am, come on, you have the floor. This Michigan Workforce Development Institute.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your patience while I switched the ends of the cord and somehow miraculously that mattered. I will skip through this pretty quickly since you have all seen it before, but please feel free to stop me if you want me to elaborate on anything. You have a printout in front of you as well. But essentially our program began in Detroit in order to serve underserved job seekers there due to a mandate that they hire locally for a lot of their work. And so we worked with the city, we worked with the building trades directly to develop this program. And it was really important that it have an equity focus so that folks that had a lot of barriers to these high paying careers were able to enter the program and be successful. So this just summarizes what I just said. These are the 3 stages of the program. We go through a recruitment process. This is part of why I'm here, because we look for partners on the ground to make sure that we are talking in all the right spaces to folks that don't always hear about these opportunities, because we really want to be enmeshed in the community and be able to recruit from within the community. Next, after the recruitment process, is the training, mentoring, and case management. This is when we get into the meat of the program. It's roughly 272 to 300 hours of classroom training. We also do some hands-on work experience. And then after the program, which is roughly 9 weeks of evenings and weekends, we help with placement. So our goal is to get folks directly into a registered apprenticeship program. And we also do job placement. So some folks might get hired on by a contractor and work a number of hours and then get into a registered apprenticeship. Some people may find jobs that are not directly in the construction trades. That's still a placement, but our goal is really, our focus is on the building trades themselves. And we track those placements. We track the equitable data on that too, in terms of women, people of color, youth, veterans, populations that are often underserved in the building trades. These are the program requirements up here. I won't go into them in too much detail unless you have a question. I know two things that come up a lot are the background check, which we do work with Nation Outside and other groups that help returning citizens find employment and find training opportunities. We often work with parole officers to get people lined up before they are out back in population. And so just because we do a background check does not mean that you are excluded from this program. We're very open to working with everyone. But there are some things that we know are going to be a red flag for a construction company. And that's why that's on there. So any kind of sex offense would disqualify someone. Our curriculum is based off of the curriculum that the building trades themselves use. It's the MC3 curriculum developed by the North America's Building Trades Union, NAB2. So it is an actual credential along with our OSHA 30 certification and a few other certifications as well. The work experience project, these are just some examples of things that we did. That Goal Series bus stop installation was really cool because we worked with the community who had other organizations at the table who were working to build these shelters for youth that were waiting for the bus that often had long waits out there in the cold and the rain. And the children developed artwork, and our folks that are here in the picture were helping install that. And you can't really tell from the photo, but in the background is all the kids whose artwork is going up on the back watching this. So it was a pretty cool experience. These are some of our numbers. They're a little bit out of date. We have more people that have gone through the program, but you can see our completion and placement rates are very high, 81% being employed. The registered apprenticeships there, 56% getting in. That's really high for these competitive opportunities. And the average wage at placement has actually come up slightly, but at this time it was over 17 an hour. Here are the demographics that I was talking about specifically when you compare us to the statewide numbers. So if you look at, for women, we are at 37%, whereas statewide that's only at 10.7%. People of color, 56% versus the state's average of 12.4%, and with youth, 59% versus 0.7%. So the program has been very successful in reaching people that have traditionally been shut out of these opportunities for a number of different reasons. We do provide. So the way that we are looking at that is the way that the state is defining it. People of color. How it's being defined.
Oh, okay.
So the state in their demographics, we wanted to compare Black. I'm actually not sure if Latinx is included there or not. Asian, any non-white.
So federal minorities with new immigrants.
I'm sorry?
Federal minorities with new immigrants. Federal minorities are the African American, Native American, mainland Puerto Rican, and now the Mexican American. Those are your federal, and then you have new immigrants, which can include your Latinx, which is from Latin America, which is from Asian, which could be from Middle Eastern. So that's not the federal base, but the international population that's here in Michigan. Is that your people? That's most likely your people.
No, so anyone that is in our program is they could be an immigrant as long as they're authorized to work in this state. But the majority of people in our program are Black.
Wow.
That's not everyone, but that is the majority of people that go through our program. Is that what you're asking?
No, I was just trying to make sure I had understanding of the definition.
Okay.
Where there's the federal and
Right.
then there's the local, which is different. Because I work on the federal level. Federal level is defined by the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
And we're just looking at what the state is,
Right,
how they're
right.
tracking it, which they're getting that data from the.
Yeah, the state includes the Asian American, the Arab American, what you call from the Latinx, which is from Latin America. Um, those are immigrants. Everybody who comes in with a passport or visa who lives in America is there. The only non-immigrant is the African American.
They might be the only ones to rebuild America though.
That's how it looks.
Oh, those folks don't wanna get
I
up,
don't understand.
Okay.
come back from lunch.
We have those two different things.
Sure. So this woman here, we're going to hear from her in this video that I'd like to share with you. She was one of our first students in the first couple of cohorts. She's actually not only a journeywoman now with the operating engineers, but she's also such a believer in the program that she comes back and is hired on as a trainer for us too on the soft skills, and she does a lot of promotion. We have several folks at Journey Level Status that have come back either as volunteer mentors, as recruiters, to give presentations or other things because it's been so impactful. So that is Latasha, and Chandra Dunn is another one of our success stories, but this video that I'm going to share is about Latasha.
How do you empower residents to kind of be co-leaders, co-creators, co-owners of their future? How do you get people out of poverty? Employment really is the only way to do this.
All in my household was always taught that you go to school and you go to work. That's what I did. I did security for quite a while. And one afternoon, typical day at work, I'm just doing my rounds and a man falls from my parking garage and commits suicide. I became really, really depressed, and it was no exit to that depression for me. It was almost like he ended his life and mine as well. My employer laid me off for medical reasons. After that, my life it started to down spiral. I don't know, being homeless is weird. Because you don't really think about nobody else. You just wake up and make sure, everything is pretty much safe around you. Make sure, At first, I used to be scared. I think somebody trying to break in my car, and I'm in here, and they don't know, and then I get shot randomly. But that's why I started parking in the suburbs. Like, I'll come out here, I pull up like by the tree, and so I'm in like a little corner. Some places it's 24 hours, so it's always traffic. And so you never really get noticed. I have to get out of my car. I have to get to safe shelter, no matter what it takes.
Latasha's story certainly speaks to me about the power of a job and the opportunity it affords and what an individual will do to be able to have access to that opportunity.
The reason Access for All was started is there was a need in our industry to bring on more construction workers. And so we developed a 9-week program so we can make sure that the folks that come through this program do get a job opportunity.
And Detroit is a labor town, so in order to solve this question of how do you get people good jobs in industries, in the skilled trades, you had to work with labor. And United Way gave us, as funders, an opportunity to really fund opening up of skilled trades to Detroiters.
For a long time, it seems like skilled trades in general has been looked down upon, and it shouldn't be that way. It's a viable alternative to higher education. It is higher education.
My hope in this region is that we are able to increase the number of individuals that are earning a sustainable wage. And in order to do that, they need to be adequately prepared for every opportunity that's out there.
heard about the program when I was attending a church service, and I went to go apply for Access for All just for Run Brothers. I felt that it would be good for them to check it out. But in return, the doors opened up for me, and now I'm sitting in the program. I walked in, and I immediately felt intimidated. I'm like, wow, like all of these guys, man, they know about tools, and here I am with my nails and my earrings. So what am I doing in here? Coming up, I had nobody tell me that I could do it or step out on faith and try. But the guys have been nothing but supportive. They've been like big brothers to me. They've taken me under their wings.
From day one, we had a contract. And there's no one left behind. At first, we didn't know each other, but now I feel like I've been knowing them my whole life. So I treat them like they're my brothers and my sister.
It's a good thing to go out to these apprenticeship schools and be able to see, what work is performed in the fields. And it's good to see what's expected of you when you go out there in the fields. That helps them to choose what direction they want to go into.
This is a great program. It's just a blessing. I mean, you got somebody that's willing to help you and they're pushing you. You can't get that all the time. You got to take advantage. You got to take advantage.
I need Access for All to be access to a home. I need to have access to employment. I need access to a safe environment. I need access to clean water. I need access to other opportunities. Welcome to our graduation. We made it.
We just appreciate everything that everybody has done. Everybody that had a hand into believing in us, what we can do. And we're all excited. We're ready to work. And we won't let you down.
I'm so grateful, and I look forward to my journey because this is the reward, the journey itself. Thank you guys so much. Access for All, I am done. I have a job. I'm at Dan's Excavating as an apprentice of operating engineers. I have learned so much. I operate a machine called the roller. So I'm responsible for compacting the sand before we can lay our stone and our asphalt. Oh man. So can I come pick it up today? Oh, sweet. Okay, I'll be right back up there then. Thank you so much. Now we can go get started. I was homeless and now I got home. The journey has been like none other. Like I can't even explain. Like it's been so emotional. So many ups, so many downs, so many turns. But to finally have that lease time and those keys to my keychain, that's everything. I have a good job. I have a home. Oh, only thing missing is the husband. Y'all could find me that. That'd be perfect. Just my last request.
So that's just one story. We have a lot of stories like that, but you can see we really dig in and provide a lot of supportive services besides just the training. There's a stipend. we pay for the equipment, we pay for a lot of other things that can help remove barriers. And go ahead, because I can see you have a question.
I have, the question would be, the last time we spoke when you came to the chair was that I asked if you would please talk to our school system, Benton Harbor area school system, because we've been talking years about getting apprenticeships back in there and catching those youth before or prior to graduation and even after graduation, with the hopes that they can take this while they're learning home and entice their parents that may be searching for a job or some type of training, and you offer a stipend. And I know factually that building something from the ground up and being able to stand back and look at it that you've done with your own hands is a wonderful thing, because I got my experience from Hard Knocks. But we need to be training our people in our community to at least make it accessible for them that are interested, no matter what color they are. Somebody has got to rebuild this country that is totally falling apart. And it has to be somebody that's dedicated, willing to wake up, be there on time, take a lunch break of the time that's given to them, and come back and clock out at day's end. Training responsible people that truly want better in life. And that's what this type of training on all levels do. Honest, decent living. We would be crazy not to partnership with you all, with the school system. And I'm going to say this, Manchester Bidwell Arts and Training Technology Center has the same story of dealing with other career skills and making that accessible. And I'm just, we are at a time that I don't think that we need to let this get past us. And there's about to be a meeting and everybody going to be invited.
Okay. Well, I can tell you a couple of things. We're very happy to partner with the city, with other nonprofits, with the school system. And actually, we are on Monday starting a new partnership with the Lansing Public School System, where we're running a CTE program for construction, so that the youth in that program are directly tied into the building trades, which these are the jobs that come with the pension, come with regular wage increases, come with very good health care, not the jobs that use you for, one build and then you're done. And it might sound really great to make 15 to 18 an hour for that one thing, but then where are you?
Can I say this? Because a lot of us, like myself, we want to be our own boss and get into this entrepreneurial, mindset of being our own and owning our own business. What we fail to do, or what others fail to teach us, is that you have to put a way to be able to retire. Jobs like this helps you to put up for a pension to relax on later in life. It's all fine and good to say, I got a business. I mean, I was a mother. I just wanted to earn some money to help with the household while he worked. I ended up going at it alone. Had no other choice but to be teaching entrepreneurial skills, and the longevity of work is what we also need to learn about. Putting up a nest egg and having something to retire on is very, very important, because some of us actually live to get old enough to retire.
Right. There's actually a little bit of financial literacy, because we do a lot of soft skills in there. And, I think it would be great if folks come up in this program, work in the building trades, and then decide to go off and become an entrepreneur and start a construction company right here in town that can hire them. That's the ideal, right? As you continue that whole cycle.
Commissioner Henry?
The young lady that we just looked at, she had been in the union. She was a operator. Is she no longer in the union?
No, she's a journeywoman now. Yep, she still does that. She works with us part-time. So she does, she's an instructor with our soft skills. So she does a lot of talk about communication and about all of those things that you were just talking about, Commissioner, with showing up on time and being ready, and helps more in that kind of coaching kind of role with getting folks prepared, because we do that as well as the hard skills, right? You're learning about the skills on the job, but you're also learning about math, particularly as it relates to construction.
So, after going through your training, and I hear that it's kind of a lot of things that are in it too.
Mhm.
Then the apprenticeship, tell me more about that.
So our goal is to get people in registered apprenticeships. We can't promise everyone's going to get in. They're highly competitive, but that's that 56% that gets directly into apprenticeships. So those can range anywhere. They usually average about 4 years. You're making good wages from the start, and every 6 months you see an increase. Your pension, all of those things begin from day one. So it's basically the next step.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay.
I retired from construction worker,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the trades, and I personally watched systematic racism push out black men and pull in black women. So, and I know the trades that are, if you look at the history, you can see what they produced, and you will not see any African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say minorities, because my labor's union is full of minorities, but not many African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do we make sure that this systematic racism does not perpetrate into African American men or women
Mm-hmm.
not getting in those trade unions?
Right. So you're absolutely correct. I mean, there is a long history, not just in the trades, but in a lot of labor history. So, well, everywhere too. Yeah. But I what I can say, because I don't run those organizations, but we work very closely with them, and they are partners directly on this program. And we place people, including African American men, with the laborers, with the operators, with the carpenters, with all of those building trades all the time. So directly through Access for All. All I can tell you is that they're working with us. They're at the table. They're very interested in being. They've been there since day one. And
can you show us from your past what happened?
Yeah, I mean Can
you show us what happened? Because now Detroit is one of our sister cities.
Mm-hmm.
Lance.
So as a matter of fact, in Detroit, we have a program there called Fast Track. That is have you heard of that?
Of course.
With Ford. So a lot of our graduates from Access for All will go into the Fast Track program. We actually just this last week negotiated a raise for them. So it was $15 an hour to work on the train station downtown and get direct experience, where then they would usually get picked up either into an apprenticeship program or by one of those construction companies, contractors that was down there. Now they're making $18 an hour for that 14-week period, and then they usually get picked up right after that. So
do you have proof that they do get picked up?
Yeah, that's what our
because
and all these people, all these pictures, these aren't stock photos. These are our students. These are all folks that have been, with the exception of one here.
I don't mean in your brochure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean in DATA data.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see you produce it and show us where it actually affected my people, African American men and women.
Mm-hmm. So there was the slide in here that showed the percentage. I can break that down by what percentage of those 56 that went into registered apprenticeship, what those demographics are, I think you will find that they were almost entirely African American men. But I will pull that data.
In Detroit and Benton Harbor, I
We're
would
in
assume,
we're
or-
in Detroit, we're in Jackson, we're in Saginaw, we're in Kalamazoo, we're in Battle Creek, and we are expanding into a whole bunch of new cities. So we have the funds to do this. I'm not coming here asking you to fund this program, but I would very much be interested in a partnership so that we can make sure that we're successful in hiring a local recruiter who really knows the community and knows the different organizations to partner with and can help with the recruitment process in helping get the word out about this program as well. And for all of the different supportive services, we really like to tap into local resources, to buy local where we can, to do, as much of that connection with the community that we're operating in as possible. So that's really the reason that I wanted to come here and talk to folks, the reason that I presented at council a couple of months ago. There's a lot of other potential. We're in Kalamazoo. We're working, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Northside Association for Community Development, the NACD there. They have been successful in doing a lot, and they're very focused on seeing people in that very specific neighborhood in the program. And we've worked directly with them on that. We're actually launching a program on September 6th that's a precursor to this, because they found a lot of folks didn't have GEDs and weren't able to get into Access for All. So we're building in a GED component for that community right there to try and bridge that gap. It's a pilot program this summer. We'll see how it goes, but that's something potentially we could take beyond as well. So anything we can do to help remove barriers and work together as partners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Tynes.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, through the chair. Just 3 questions. One, in terms of the flow, it looks like that they come into the trade school, get into the union, and then try to qualify for the apprenticeship, which leads to them becoming licensed. Is that the flow?
So
Schooling,
when you say when they come in,
apprenticeship, licensing, become a licensed journeyman, licensed electrician.
so yeah, journeyman is the last step with the licensure to be a licensed journey person, journey worker. They would be, if they go into a registered apprenticeship, they would be in that union at that point.
But the starting point is the schooling. So
You're talking about our program.
correct.
Yes.
Talk about your program is the trade school. From
The
trade school-
registered apprenticeship is the trade school. So we're teaching a lot of skills, and we're introducing folks to all of the different trades. So we are not the expert on any individual trades. If they get picked up in the registered apprenticeship, they would go to their trade school as an apprentice, or other paths. They could go directly to work for a contractor.
So combining this, the number one thing is what you're saying, partnership with Access. When, example, Micah Seeks comes to you, just graduated out of high school.
Mhm.
Is he taking classes? Walk me through this one
Sure.
person. Then I have one
So
last question.
we would sit down and screen you. There'd be an application process, there'd be an interview process. If you clear all of those, you would get a weekly stipend, a gas card, other supportive services. You would be in training generally in the evenings and then all day on Saturday. And then after that 9-week period, we would work with you. Your case manager would work with you to get you into that registered apprenticeship program. Say you want to be an electrician.
So, all right, so this young man comes in,
Mhm.
he qualifies, so he's now in a program taking classes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
9-week set of classes.
Mm-hmm.
Then he passes his 9-week set of classes. Then he now goes into the actual trade school.
we work to help get that placement. We can't guarantee that.
Okay, so he comes in to do your program, takes classes, and then if he scores as qualifies, then he goes into.
Yep, if they take him in, he goes in there.
Accept him into a trade school.
Yep.
And then the trade school, is that trade school part of the apprenticeship program?
That is the
Or-
apprenticeship program.
Okay, so that's the apprenticeship
Yep.
program. So the trade school apprenticeship is combined, then he passes that's in terms of licensing, right?
Yep, if they complete that whole, however many years it is, all the building trades are different. But he would get paid that time that he's working, going through the apprenticeship. And yes, at the end of that is licensing.
And so the distinction here is that you just really need partnership and access to the people of Ben Harbor, and the Commissioner Henry is correct, because in 1970s, that was the movement to remove trade schools from urban communities, back then African-American communities, to shut down the economic base that funded the civil rights, human rights movement. And that was removed. So, and then subsequently, she's also correct that the definition of minority was created, which was the African American, the Native American, and the Mexican American at that time. And for the first time in history, the European American, who you are a numerical majority when it comes into the European American population, but she was classified that way. And you also, she's correct, 85% of minority contracts go to European American women, white women, and not the African Americans. So there's a lack of African American representation, and African American women became a double minority, both female plus African American. So the distinction in Bidwell, Manchester, is that you don't really need to be funded that spot. And then the last part is that you mentioned that the city had mandated local hiring. Is that a compartment of your program, or should a resolution be put together and with some guidance so that we, as a broad city, can mandate local hiring? Can you help us to come up or guide us so we can also move forward with a mandate for local hiring?
Yeah, so unfortunately, my understanding is that you can no longer put those kind of restrictions in place at the municipal level. There was something at the state level that stopped that, and my understanding is that Detroit was grandfathered in, that they had that in prior. Now I would love to be wrong on that, and I will absolutely ask questions and get back to you. But one thing that can be done is within different kinds of permitting and things that the city issues, you can mandate in there. So for instance, a lot of cities have looked at responsible contractor policies. I'm not sure if you have one here or not. But in order to become a responsible contractor, to be eligible to bid on projects that use city dollars, you can list out those criteria. And we actually have worked with other cities through not WDI, but our parent organization, the Michigan State AFL-CIO, to show sample language on what that can look like. And hiring local first, or having a certain percentage of hours worked on a job. You can set qualifications that define what a minority-owned business would look like, so that people aren't saying their wife is really the owner of the business, so that they can qualify. All of those tricks that folks use. There's ways that those kind of ordinances can be helpful. But I will get back to you on the other about Detroit, but I'm pretty sure they're grandfathered in.
You're pretty sharp about 1%.
Thanks.
Just one quick question.
Mr. Davis.
Yeah, I am a welder by trade. I welded for 9 years at Reese Hitchens in Elkhorn, Indiana. Malcolm said it best. History is best true to reward all research. The history of unions has always been what Commissioner Henry said, systemic racism. They started out to keep what they call now black people out of specific jobs, those trade jobs. That's how it started. So systemic racism cannot be addressed unless you deal with the hearts of people. And we can't know the hearts of whites or Europeans. So there's no way to deal with that unless you separate from Europeans, period. Okay, now, let me continue. As I said, I spent 9 years as a welder in Elkhart, Indiana. And again, back to the history. Unions were started to keep us out. That's just a fact. And this city is being gentrified. So let's not sit up and act like this is for our people. This city is being gentrified daily. And I remember Commissioner Henderson saying years ago that gentrification is here to stay and there's nothing we can do about it. So let's not act like this city is not changed. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She said that gentrification is here and there's nothing we can do about it, which is a lie because according to the charter, this city is a sovereign city. If you all go by the charter, we don't need any outsiders coming in here with these fake programs. This is not for us. This is for those that are coming into the city, and it's part of the master plan. Funny is timing is so perfect. While we're being gentrified, now you come here with this program. And let me say this last. The woman that you have in the video was disgusting as far as I'm concerned. Because you use her and show her as if she is going to be doing the work, but then you turn around later on and you say she's doing the soft skills. So the video is false advertisement, and we need men in these positions because that's who actually does construction work. Women don't do it, and you all know that.
She's driving the paver.
You said she's doing soft skills.
No, for us. It was in the video. You saw her driving the paver. That's what she does for the union.
Okay, well, let me say this. Being a welder, women do not need these type of jobs. It's not, their bodies are not built for that. Period. It's just not. They don't need these type of skills. Why are y'all coming to us trying to take our women from the position that you heard? She said she need a husband. That's what they need. Not no construction work job. Those jobs are too hard for the bodies of women. That's just what it is. That's not being biased.
Look, Honorable Chair, was it not, is Harriet Tubman a woman or a man? And she had a shotgun and she traveled by herself in a long skirt, black lady, right? And she went down south and brought a whole bunch of folks back up here. Come on now. I'm sure this young lady knows that she is in a predominantly black community, and we're not going to be racist about who needs to be trained. Yeah, I'm sure some coming and moving in need to be trained as well, but we are talking about a predominantly black community. If you do not make something accessible and available for them to get to without having to leave their community, should they just stay hanging out in front of liquor stores, asking for quarters and nickels and stuff? I mean, come on now. I'm tired of it. You know that you have come to a predominantly black community. The first question I asked was, are you partnershiping or thought about or talking to? Actually, I just got a text and they're waiting for you guys to make an appointment with superintendent. Okay. As well, there's some things in motion, and it's for all of those that are interested. You can only lead a horse to the hay. You can't make him pick it up and chew it.
I don't know what you're asking going forward for the motion.
Hold on. I'm gonna say this, and then we're going.
Now, I got one thing to say before you close it down, sir.
Say whatever you got to say. I had the opportunity Monday to go downtown Chicago to one of the economic development meetings. Business coming to town there, Chicago, and some of these arguments I heard something similar to what I'm hearing tonight, in a whole different community. So the owner of the property, who they have fought every business that tried to come in that place. This is in Chicago, not here. And finally, the owner said, y'all have fought everybody that wanted to rent, lease, or buy that space. Do y'all have something that can go there in order for me to have sustainability for my building? And nobody had nothing to go into this man's building. But yet, every time it was time to put something there, these people kicked up their heels and fought against everything that had to do with development for this man's building. And he was on the cusp of losing his property because he cannot find anybody that other people are willing to allow them to lease. And I'm talking about Starbucks, Blockbuster, bring too much traffic, to do this. The people that were there this time offer 18 jobs, paying sustainable wages, benefits, everything else. And they still got a problem with that. So my suggestion is, when you come to community economic development meeting, if you can't agree with it, then give us an alternative. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you kick against everything that's happening, then bring something else. Our children need this. Our adults need it. Nobody's training them. Slick Al, he put some money aside for appropriation and tried to do this little thing down here to train people. Nobody showed up. You know, he appropriated money to do that. Nobody showed up. Now, when you got something that's viable, give us an alternative. That's all I'm saying to anybody. Because the day of picking berries and cotton is over.
I got an alternative.
Next steps.
So my suggestion is, Mr. Little, we get ready to go. I know you gotta get out there.
Oh.
Is we're gonna push it forward to the full body.
No, can I say what I have to say?
The motion be supported. We're pushing it on. Mr. Duncan, last say.
This,
You got the floor.
You gonna let me talk?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm about anything to help a black man. So that's why I'm here right now. When these people came in the last time, I tried to get the paperwork. I won't forget you because I got slighted. And as a black man, I don't feel like I should ever be slighted, especially when it comes to something like how to go into some work, different kind of work. I worked as a laborer, retired, worked at nuclear plants. I just wanted to try to get some information so I could pass it on to some of the young people in town. But just like you guys dismiss citizens because of the way they might look or the way they might talk, I got totally dissed just for asking for the paperwork. And I know I'm a forgotten person. Did I ask you for anything? I'm talking though. Don't cut me off. Don't try to find a way to cut me off. When you dismiss any black man for any reason you have, on their way out, they gave me the paperwork. And I was up here, you gave it to me, and I slammed it down on the counter because I had questions that I wanted to ask while you guys were up there chit-chatting and laughing and joking and stuff. I was trying to get the information so I could pass it along. On their way out, or during citizens' comment when I was talking about something else, that's when they came and handed me the paper, but that was after their presentation. You cannot diss anybody like me. And that's what I say about you guys. When you diss me, I come in with a question, I never get an answer. Just like tomorrow morning, I want to come in and get the paperwork about why the buoys couldn't be put on the river. I was told that there was a letter, and I'll be down here in the morning to get that letter. So, but to go back to being dissed, I'm done with that. So, through the chair, and I'm talking to you too, if you feel like you're gonna diss me in this chamber of mine and the other citizens, you got it all mistaken. You and the mayor, all that hollering and screaming and putting citizens down, that shit is over. Now I'm done.
Sir, I don't think you heard
I don't
my
wanna talk to you.
response,
Talk to the chair.
but I actually said I would give it to him after my presentation because it was back there, which we did.
I'm not.
We have another resident.
Yeah, Mr. Ivy.
Overlook me. Duly noted.
Hi, I'm addressing the board on another matter. I've been here about it before. Property at 709 Colfax Avenue, next door to my property. Yes, I tried calling the city manager, but wasn't able to reach him yet. And I really just need to know how to go about this. What I'm requesting is access to that property. As I mentioned before, I had been trying to purchase it from the list that comes out. So it was there at one point and then it was gone. And so from what I've heard, that property has reverted back to the city. I'm requesting to purchase that property, the opportunity to purchase it as I would have had when it was on the auction list. So I really don't know who I need to go to for that. I've tried calling the city manager, but who do I need to address
You can address
about that?
Mr. Little's office, which is Planning Economic Development Office.
The Planning Economic Development
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You can call, schedule an appointment to talk, or you will feel free to respond. Is that correct?
Chairman Seats,
Thank you.
if I may bring back to your remembrance the house, the home that Ms. Ivy is talking about.
I know exactly.
Okay. I think that this body, should give her the same opportunity that we gave the gentleman that came forward.
Yeah, I think that was a,
It's unfortunate that it failed.
Well, it is unfortunate, but I wouldn't want to put that burden, that much a burden on that young lady.
Does she know what she can handle?
Well, it was $125,000 investment that we saw on putting in that house. And, I mean, are we talking about remodeling? Or are we talking about making a driveway or building? Come forward, if you just real quick. Ma'am, we got one, Mr. Davis. This is the last statement on this. You talking about the trainer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free.
You let her go?
No, this is on something totally different.
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda,
You
so
go first.
she's gonna come under the comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you can come, you can make.
Okay. Well, let me say this. I stopped working in 2007, and I was making $18 an hour. You come with a program that's not gonna benefit, because $17 an hour today is not enough to take care of the bills. So your program is quite lacking because the economic system today is soaring. The rent here in this city is soaring. We're being pushed out and the rent is soaring up. So what is $17 going to actually do today for our people? Not much at all.
Agreed, that's the starting. You get up into $30-$40 an hour.
But that wasn't in your presentation.
Because that happens after our program.
Oh, really?
This is
Do we have any,
starting.
can we have any writing on that?
It's in the union contracts.
I'm talking about, do you have anything that says that?
I mean, I can go online and pull it up.
Or do you have anything with you? Because you got got these, you don't have nothing like that in the program?
Nope, I can only say what happens when we place people.
Appreciate that.
There are laws that have to be followed when it comes to these type of jobs, and I can attest because my husband is one and he has to pay his workers by law $22. It's gone up a significant amount from $15 an hour.
Yeah, whatever,
Our people need training.
yeah, whatever.
And if we don't move forward, we're trying to bring some in here. Who got another solution? That's what I want to hear.
Like I said.
Come on, point of order, point of order.
Mr. Chairman, I need to raise it.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Well, we're moving this forward. Thank you, ma'am, you're done.
Thank you.
Appreciate you for coming, thank
Yep.
you.
Feel free to reach out if you have questions.
All right, I appreciate, you leave your card with the
Yep.
clerk.
You should all have a
All
copy of
right,
it
thank
too.
you so much. Miss Ivy, could you really quickly, because our, she's getting ready to leave, what is your plans for the property?
Well, sir, here's the thing, I understand that you said there's a $125,000 investment that someone wants to put into there.
Well, that's what they were proposing, yes, ma'am.
Okay, but there are a couple avenues actually that I could go, but I certainly would like the opportunity to do so. You know, I don't have a plan in writing of any sort, but I haven't even been inside the building to see, you know, how,
So you want
what's
access,
possible, you
you want
know.
to have access to go in?
I want to have access to purchase.
Okay.
So that's what I'd like.
Understood, I do appreciate you coming back a second time.
Speak with Mr. Little.
City manager suggests that you speak with Mr. Little. And then once you call Mr. Little, and Mr. Little does respond, and he's here tonight, tell you he's gonna respond, and then we can move from there. Thank you, Mr. Little.
So you will be.
All right, adjourned. Meeting adjourned. Thank you guys for coming out. God bless tonight.
Oh, that's it. Thank y'all.